Alright, so markup is ready, everything is prepared to start styling our project. As we said in previous lecture, at first we're going to work on banner. Let's open style.css file, and first of all, reset default margin and padding, select elements using asterisk, and set margin and padding as 0. Next, we have to hide second part of our project for a while, I mean slideshow. So for that, let's select element with class name slideshow wrapper and assign to it display none. Alright, so slides are hidden and we have here just heading and button. Before we start working on banner, let's define width and height for container, and also, as you remember, for first part we need to set background color as black. So let's go ahead and do that. Select container, set it width as 100%. As for height, I'm going to make it 100% of viewport. And lastly, change background color, make it black. Alright, so as you see, the whole page became black, heading is no longer visible. So first of all, let's change its color, select banner, H1, and use here color 91130F. Alright, so as you can see, heading is visible, and now it's time to take care of layout of banner. I'm going to place it in the center, so let's select banner, assign to it position absolute. Then I'm going to place it down, so let's define its top position as 35%. Then in order to center it horizontally, set left position as 50%, and then use transform, translate with X direction, and with -50%. So banner is centered, and actually I'm going to center elements inside banner as well. For that we need to use text align center. So now you see that everything seems to be okay, elements are aligned in the right way, and now it's time to style both elements, I mean heading and button individually. Let's start from heading. We have already defined its color, and next I'm going to change its font family. Let's use here Ubuntu sans serif. Then increase font size, make it 120 pixels. Alright, so as you see, heading is already looking nice. Next, I want to create some space between heading and button, and I'm going to do that using margin bottom with value 100 pixels. And lastly, let's create borders on top and bottom. Right property border top with values 5 pixels, solid, and with color 91130F. Then duplicate it and instead of top, write bottom. Alright, that's it about heading. It's ready. I think it's looking good. And now let's move on to button. Select button, write banner, button. At first, let's define its width. Make it 230 pixels. Then create some padding on all 4 sides. Write padding 10 pixels. Next, I'm going to change its default background color. I want to use linear gradient. So write background, linear gradient. As a direction of color transition, I want to use to right. It means that transition will go from left to right. Then I'm going to use 2 different red colors. First one is going to be 440, 402. As for second one, Let's write C0120C. So as you see, step by step, button is getting nicer. Let's work on text inside it, change font family. In this case, I'm going to use font called Doses, sans serif. Then increase font size, make it 25 pixels. Create some space between letters using letter spacing, 2 pixels. And change color of text, make it white. Alright, at this time button is looking much better, but still we have to add to it more styles. Let's get rid of default border and outline, write border none and outline none, and also make button rounded using border radius 100 pixels. Alright, actually button is almost styled. We have to do a couple of things. As you remember from project preview, button has 3D effect on hover, and you already know how to create 3D environment for element. We should use transform with perspective. Let's insert here 500 pixels and then rotate button according to Y direction. Insert here argument minus 15 degrees. So you see that button is rotated nicely. Next that I want to do is to create text shadow effect. Let's use property called text shadow. Actually, it works in the same way as box shadow does. It can take same values. So let's assign to it 6 pixels, then 3 pixels, then write 2 pixels, and as a color write RGBA 000, opacity 0.4. So we have here text shadow effect, which actually makes button even more three-dimensional. Okay, before we finish this lecture, let's change type of cursor, make it pointer. Alright, I think that it's enough for now. Let's take a little break here and move on to the next lecture.